Okay. Today we are having a very auspicious day. With a great man, is a millet man of India. Dr. Khadar Valli is joining with us. The first time in his life addressing a Kerala meeting. And that also I am very happy to say that by participating in the Swadeshi Festival final days, participating in the Swadeshi Festival Millet Training Program. The Millet Training Program we started 2 years back, and before that we produced 8 videos about the positive millets educated by Dr. Khadar Valli. Even though I myself have not getting any chance to meet Dr. Khadar Valli, I was actually introduced by Sri Matthew Perukada, and he introduced me to the millets activities of Dr. Khadar Valli, and I am very fortunate. Some 3 years back, we produced some videos, 8 videos about the positive millets by listening and attending the lectures of YouTube lectures of Dr. Khadar Valli. And I am not going any detail because today is the time we all are waiting for listening to Dr. Khadar Valli. Let me introduce the other persons who are attending the Google meeting. The first one is Dr. N. Radhakrishnan, who is presiding the meeting. Dr. N. Radhakrishnan, who is presiding the meeting. Let me show his face. Dr. Radhakrishnan, can you hear me? Dr. Radhakrishnan joined the meeting, and I am not seeing him for the timing. Anyway, he'll be coming back. And the next man, Dr. N. Gopalakrishnan Nair, and he is the secretary of the Kerala Gandhi Smarak, and also the president of the Kerala Hajj Seva Sangh. And coming back to Dr. Radhakrishnan, Dr. Radhakrishnan is chairing the meeting today, and then the other people, those who are sitting in the attending the Google meeting, is I cannot bring everybody there. Of course, Dr. Devavruta Sakhya is the opposition leader of the Assam Legislative Assembly. Then Dr. Khadar Valli is left and right, Professor Gangradeji. Then Lakshmi Narayana Reddy, he must be here. Then the Dr. Vijay Kumar is the leader of the holistic medicine in Kerala. Then Sri Pankaja Shanji, the Millet Mission of India, Millet Mission of Kerala coordinator. And Suma Divagar, she is from Kerala Agriculture University. And Srilada, she is heading the Millet Mission of Kerala. She is the chairman of the Millet Mission of Kerala. And Pankaja Shanji, can you hear me, Pankaja Shanji? Pankaja Shan. And Pankaja is he accidentally left, and he again joined. Pankaja, can you hear me? Yes, Pankaja is here, and he is director of Shantigram and also the Millet Mission Kerala coordinator. And these are the important persons from our side, and of course the YMCA president and secretary, they must be joining. just now I couldn't see them. And with this verse, I directly going to my responsibility of welcoming Dr. Khadar Valli. And Dr. Khadar Valli, he is recently awarded with the Padmasree Award, honored by the Indian nation. And we, the Kerala people, we haven't get any opportunity to directly meet you, Khadar Valli sir. And before going to my responsibility of welcoming everybody, I I should I should make you a request that at least 2 days, please make a schedule of your visit in Kerala for promoting the Kerala activities, the millets activities in Kerala. For the time being, up to this day, up to 3-4 months by, there has been not such a millet activities in Kerala. Just for that time being, something is here, and we need your presence. We need your guidance, and directly by coming to Kerala, maybe by the end of July or by the first week or second week of August, and we shall have a workers meeting, and also we shall have an official meeting. These two meetings we shall conduct here so that to make a dynamic movement in Kerala. So with this base, I welcome Dr. Khadar Valli and all the other guests, important guests, those who are participating in the meeting. We are conducting the meeting in two platforms. One is in the Google platform, Google Meet platform, and the other one is the live program in the YouTube. The same program is going live in YouTube. And without wasting our time, I request Dr. N. Radhakrishnan to make his presidential address, and afterwards no other addresses directly going to Dr. Khadar Valli. Dr. Radhakrishnan.
Namaskaram. Greetings to all the guests and others who are part of this very significant get together being put up by Dr. Jacob Pulickan to highlight the importance of what is called ushering in what is called a millet revolution in this century. This year, 2023 being the International Year of Millets, has been able to generate global interest in this vital area of millet being relegated to the background, or there was some kind of ignorance about millets and the extremely important role millet can play in restructuring our dietary requirement. One of the tragedies of modern times, particularly the latter part of the 19th century, 20th century, and the 2 decades of 21st century that we have left behind, is the utter disregard of the health and nutrition value of this very, very important part of nature, which is available under the title millet. There has to be a new onward march as well as a concerted effort to highlight 3 things. One is, what are millets? Number 2, the nutritional and health aspects of millets. The third aspect is dismantling what is called a plethora of wrong impressions, wrong idea, and wrong methods that are being attributed by those people who are talking ignorant of millet as a very important part of our dietary requirement. Friends, thanks to the world body, which has declared 2023 as the year of millets, there is growth and steady awareness built around the globe by couple of voluntary organizations who have understood the value of millets as a very important component of our dietary requirements in the coming days. Millets cannot be just ignored the way humanity has ignored millets during the past several hundred years. Millets, as all of us know, is a healthy replacement for a new kind of culture which needs to be understood, the importance of which needs to be understood in the coming days. And that revolution has to begin at three levels. Number one, mothers and elders should take responsibility of educating or creating necessary awareness among themselves first on the nutritional value of millets. Number two, a millets culture has to be developed based on the new discovery that millets is a good supplement, not the way people are telling it is very costly and it is not tasty, and it is, some people even equate millets with what is called something that poor people in the marginal segment are used to take over the centuries. There is no distortion of history and reality other than this. Number three, children have to be educated that tongue need not be the testing ground of health, and tongue is only one of the organs of human body, and everything palatable need not be healthy and nutritional. That will be one of the formidable difficulties, insurmountable difficulties that we may have to face as we go forward. I'm happy to be part of a concerted effort on the part of the Gandhian fraternity and affairs in Kerala and elsewhere in India, who have been spearheading a campaign popularize millet and take millet right into the kitchen, right into the classroom, and in the wider world for very wider acceptance. Dr. Jacob initiated and initiated by many other voluntary organizations that millets are to be treated dependable, tasty, healthy, as well as proven, not only supplement, proven first diet, first food item that can be used and adopted as we go forward. And each, our concern is to develop a healthy body. That aspect of health needs to be um, understood on the basis of not the requirement of tongue, but requirements of the total body, for which a new perception, a new initiative in our food habit needs to be implemented. And the present tendency by Trump to bring in millets in a big way as part of our major dietary requirement will go a long way in ushering a new era of healthy food for a healthy future that is a good health through millet. Thank you for inviting me to this important function, and I hope in the coming days we will have plenty of opportunities everywhere to share our thoughts, share our experiences, and share the healthy aspect of millet in a big way. Thank you for inviting, and may I wish you best of luck to everybody. And I see around a large body of friends gathered from different parts of India and even elsewhere. And I take particular pleasure to welcome very, very distinguished friends also who are part of this discussion. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Millet.
Thank you, Radhasanji. Now let me invite Dr. Khadar Valli for making his very, very interesting lecture. And before starting the lecture, I should brief you, Khadar Valli ji. Around 200 millets training course participants sitting in the YMCA hall, the Swadeshi Festival Hall. They are listening your lecture in a big screen, and others are listening in the YouTube channel. Now, let me invite Dr. Khadar Valli ji.
Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Good afternoon. There are a lot of issues that have to be cleared from my side. It's been almost 30 years that I have been working on sustainable living models. The journey began just on understanding why a small girl of age 6 was menstruating in the year of 1987. That was the day when I just landed in America after I finished my PhD from University of Science, Bangalore. I just worked on steroids, that is hormonal steroids for my PhD. So it was very obvious for me that the girl whom I met in the reception hall of a hospital with the problem of menstruation began at the age of 6. So the simple answer was within a day or two, I figured out that the artificial milk that were produced by GM technology with IVF, in vitro fertilization of the cows, and then making the cow give milk 25 liters per day, and this white revolution, in the name of white revolution, the babies of Europe and America were fed this artificial milk, and obviously the hormonal imbalance resulted in a peculiar situation. But funnily, the white revolution started being adopted by everyone all over the world, especially in India. I guess I don't know whether to take his name or not. White revolution in India, of course, as a historical fact, developed into a big business. Pulickan. So basically, the food of small babies in mammalians, the milk to be fed by mother to the baby directly, has now been converted into a business. Cow's milk has been now considered as very good food for human race. It is actually just poison. Feeding your baby with the cow's milk is directly you are feeding the baby with poison, because you are going to disturb the hormonal imbalance, going to get the baby hormonally imbalanced. The same way, Green Revolution, just to sell their fertilizers, they're actually the reminiscent, rather waste of the war technology. The bomb material was converted to fertilizers. Then they chose these C3 grasses, rice and wheat, They're called C3 grasses because when you give water and fertilizers, the yield increases. Just like when you give steroids to the cow, the yield of the milk increased. The same way, when you give fertilizers and pesticides and water, rice and wheat increase their yields. Instead of 8 to 10 acres per 10 quintals per acre, you could get up to 30 quintals. This they called green revolution. Though green revolution happened before white revolution, 10-15 years ahead of green revolution, going back into. So green revolution magic, these so-called experts said, see, we are now addressing the food security for the world. You can create more and more food for people. Every country in the world has to adopt to this. But what these experts forgot is by eating rice and wheat, you are directly disturbing the homeostasis of the blood. That is, blood is becoming thick because the release of sugar into the blood by eating rice and wheat started increasing in the last 50 years. So when you increase the glucose concentration in the blood becomes thick. When the blood becomes thick, the pumping of the blood to the different organs becomes difficult. So you have pressure on your heart muscles, and the thickened blood traveling in the blood vessels starts accumulating things in the blood vessels. So you started building a disease called blood pressure. And the doctors conveniently said we will thin the blood by doing this. You see, this is where the problem occurred. All the experts, the so-called doctors, so-called scientists, kept quiet, not asked a single question. Why should we eat rice and wheat, increasing the blood glucose levels and then trying to control it with the different processes? And this is where the food became into business, because now food can be converted into corporate world. So corporatization of food started choosing C3 grasses which can increase the yield when you give water and fertilizers. I hope the august audience is understanding. And of late, everyone, including the earlier speaker, said people have ignored. No, people have not ignored. The human race has been misguided by the expert of green revolution and white revolution and slowly got diverted into the so-called food culture of corporates as exists now. And no expert till today has questioned this basic fundamental misguiding of this corporate food culture. And on top of it, the allopathic medical system is sister system, which is actually taken the ride to a different dimension. When these experts have to clearly spell out the reason why the number of BP patients increased, number of diabetes patients increased gradually, definition by decade in the last 50 years. Even today, till I came into picture and said that it is because of the food that these diseases have been appearing in the human race. And these diseases were not existing before. Even if they did, was 1 in crore, 1 in. So the simple choice of the food in the name of green revolution, in the name of white revolution, and presently the food corporates are taking it into a different dimension with another revolution called pink revolution, stating that the human race needs protein. This is all in the name of nutrition. These experts have been misguiding. Please mark my words. It is not by ignorance. It is by choice. It is by sheer choice of these food corporate experts in the name of science, in the name of technology, in the name of progress, have chosen these food items which are absolutely poison filled and unscientific choices. This is the reason why 40% of the human race struggling with diabetic condition, 40% of the human race struggling with hypertension, 25% of the human race struggling with thyroid conditions, and I can go on and go on rambling the diseases and the number of percentage. This is all due to the choice of the food and nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. All these things have happened in the name of science and technology and progress. And all the countries, the policymakers have been tied up in this corporate culture. And that is the reason why we have the food systems, the food culture the way it exists. And if experts keep talking the way you say it is ignorance and this and that, I am very sorry to inform you people that we will be left behind. And this is the most important point that all the experts now want speaking. Because if you do not correct the mistake that we have done in the last 50 to 100 years, God only can save us. I hope He is not having any business to save us. That's apart. Why millets came to be? The reason is that these are the grasses that can be, that is actually by technically, scientifically, and nature's choice, food for human. In fact, the first domesticated grass, thousands and thousands of years ago, when you go back in the history of human race, is the first food that humans ate instinctively was millet seeds, because 90% of the planet is covered by these C4 grasses. C4 grasses technically means that they fix their glucose during the photosynthesis from a stable compound called oxaloacetic acid, which does not require water to make glucose, unlike the rice, and this is the difference. So C4 grass is a peculiar photosynthetic mechanism which does not require water, and these grasses can grow anywhere in the Himalayan mountains and near the desert lands. So from 10 degrees centigrade to 50 degrees centigrade, the broad range of temperature, and there is no need for water. So even if you give water, don't give water, the yields do not decrease or increase. So if you actually have the skill of growing millets, grow up to 15 quintals to 18 quintals, especially some of the millets. I will just come into the nature of millets, types of millets in a minute or two. So the way millets have been sidelined, rather misguided, is this food corporate being revolution experts came and told all over the world that this is food for birds, food for pigs, food for animals, and food for the printing fellows. So you need to find food, and that's how they started selling their fertilizer. So it was very easy for the policymakers to be bought up, rather signed up by these companies, and they started making various policies suiting these food corporates. And I can go on rambling all these agricultural policies that are made all over the world, which is not a right time for now. So what I'm trying to communicate to you people directly is that millets were not ignored. Millets were systematically planned in the boardrooms of the corporate rooms and got eliminated from our plates decade by decade, decade by decade. Thus, they became extinct almost from the world. For your kind information, foxtail millet is known as Italian millet. Brown top millet is American millet. Little millet is called African millet. Barnyard millet is called German millet or Japanese millet. And Kodo millet is actually called Himalayan millet. In fact, there are many more millets because these C4 grasses are almost more than 6,000 varieties. And the beauty of these grasses is that they produce grains that human eye cannot even see. They are so small that in our literature, these grains were also referred to as Shudra Dhanya. Shudra means things that have happened by ghosts, bhutas, and that kind of, that means you do not see anything, but the grass grows. That they said, oh, these are Shudra Dhanya. And then they said, these are Kirudhanyas, Trunadhanyas, Laghudhanya, and Chota Ana. These are northern names. And in southern India, our language is called Kirudhanya, Chirudhanya, Trunadhanya. That means they are so much available all over the grasslands. They said this is to be thrown. This is to be eaten by birds, by pigs, by animals. But fact of the matter is, God actually has made these grains just to suit our guts. What our gut needs is to maintain the homeostasis of the blood, of glucose release slowly and steadily into your bloodstream. And that capacity and that characteristic or that dimension, these wonderful millets play the role of maintaining, regulating the blood release, your bloodstream slowly and steadily, maintaining the balance of glucose, hence maintaining the health itself in your body. So this is the fundamental science of millets. They grow anywhere and everywhere, the wide range of 10 to 50 degrees centigrade, and without any fertilized land also, even barren land. These genetic mapping of C4 grasses is such that they can absorb the nutrients and make things happen. They absorb the water content available in the atmosphere, the hygroscopic bacteria present in the grasses of these wonderful millets. Millets, by the way, means milli, means small, sushma. Millet, piglet, booklet, chiclet. So the grains of these grasses are small in quantity and the size of the grain. And that's how they are actually grouped as major millets and minor millets. Major millets are actually, as of now, 4 of them exist. I have studied 4 of them. That is ragi, finger millet, bajra, that is sajje, which is pearl millet, jowar, great millet, and chena, proso millet. These are little bigger in size. They are called major millets. Of course, we also include corn. Again, a C4 grass, but its grain is very big to the eye. That's why it is not included as millet, but it is a grain which has fiber incorporated into the carbohydrate. And major millets, coincidentally, require a lot more water to grow per kilo compared to minor millets, which are Kodo millet, barnyard millet, foxtail millet, brown top millet, and little millet. These are very small grains. That's why they are called minor millets. And the water to grow 1 kilo of these 5 small millets called minor millets is around 300 liters per kilo. This is, as a scientist, I have calculated, I have done experiment. And the major millets require above 500 liters to 1000 liters. Corn being little more water required. When you come to C3 grasses like rice and wheat, it requires 8000 liters per kilo. So this is important because when you start considering the natural resources like water, the food choice has been absolutely wrong when the experts chose rice and wheat, because its growing conditions are very limited and restricted. Because the temperature, if it is going beyond 35, the yields of rice and wheat come down, and which we have seen the results in the last 20 years. The yields of rice and wheat, despite their technological hybrids as well as GM varieties has started coming down in the world in the last 2 decades. That means, however much technological advances, they cannot overcome the natural conditions of temperature. The temperature being the limit for these grains. Whereas the millets are designed by God for time immemorial to be the food of human race. So we have been hoodwinked by these experts in the last 100 years, saying that rice and wheat are human beings' food and others are actually, today also American Colorado state grows thousands of tons of brown top millet, and unluckily the FDA writes not for human consumption and bird feed. And once FDA says something, it's a dictate all over the world. So even Indian experts, Indian scientists name these things as bird feed and do not consider as human beings food. And the sad story is that in 1970s and 80s, these experts and came said, "Oh, India doesn't have food," and that was a false statement. They managed the media, they managed everything and made the farmers who were growing these wonderful grains and eating by themselves, not bothered about all these things, felt that they were not eating food and they were primitive, and they stopped growing the food slowly and steadily. The farmers themselves believe, as the experts even today believe, that it's a food not to be eaten by human beings. And if you eat this, it is very hard body for you. This is this for you, that for you. These kinds of misinformation has been spread all over the world, and the doctors, present day doctors, parrot these sentences declaring that if you are eating millets, you are left when you are a very primitive fellow. And this is the sad story of human race. And now, after eating rice, wheat, and sugar, and funnily, sugar cane is also a C4 grass. But this glucose synthesis by compartmentalization and storing of glucose in the stem of this C4 grass, peculiar C4 grass, whose grains are not visible, they do not matter because it doesn't do anything in the grain when the inflorescence comes. And this sugar loaded with glucose has become the second poison for the human race. The first poison is milk, the second poison is sugar. And with rice and wheat, we have big concoction of poisonous food for the human race, and that's how we've been manufacturing diseases in the last 25 years in the human race. If I have to warn you or remind you that 8% of the babies are now born with genetically problematic type 1 diabetes, and 8% of the born kids are mentally retarded. 6% of the born kids have heart in the hole, and there are autoimmune diseases surfacing now because of the pink revolution, along with animal milk being fed in large quantities. We are not able to deal with the high content of protein in the name of eggs, in the name of chicken, in the name of meat. We have been fed this animal protein. And the fact of the matter is, human mouth does not have a single peptidase. It cannot digest proteins in the mouth at all. Whereas we have 5% of total enzymatic system of our digestion as peptidases or protein degrading enzymes. That means you do not need protein beyond 5%. Even that has to be a plant feed. So plant protein is consumed by carnivores and they make their proteins. Whereas when we eat the plant protein, we make our proteins according to our genetic. So eating meat, thinking that you are going to get protein from animals, is absolutely unscientific completely. So these two scientific facts have been absolutely suppressed by the present day so-called biochemists. They are not talking about this. No research done. absolutely zero papers. And whoever does something against these food corporates, those papers are not published. The scientists do not even exist. And so someone like me came and said, "No, I will cure diabetes." No, cannot say that, because 1954 Indian Parliament has made a law called Wonder Drug Act. Below given diseases cannot be cured. There is no such drug which can cure these diseases, and that's why it's called Wonder Drug Act. You cannot cure diabetes, TB, you cannot thyroid. This is the way it is going. So that means the corporate companies have planned way back in 1954, when we didn't even know the word diabetes, hypertension. This is the way it is done, systematically, step by step, planned in the books, along with the hands in glove of policymakers. If someone has some other story to say, sorry to listen. This is what exactly has happened behind walls of every corporate and in the policymakers' rooms. So unless we agree to this and start looking at food differently, food should have been available for everyone, and that's what God has done. So we, by saying millets are not food for human beings, in fact, there are being mistakenly, rather purposefully guided articles saying that millets are goitrogens, millets are thyroid cause. Even today, even in the social media, now and then these articles pop up, the people are confused. No, no millets are goitrogenous, no millets are thyroid causing. In fact, we have cured thousands and thousands of these cases by giving little millet, which actually helps cleaning up of many of the endocrine systems, which are made of fat material. So the little millet fiber, which is up to 9.8% associated with the carbohydrate, while we eat this interloculated carbohydrate and fiber, the release of glucose is slowly and steadily regulated into your bloodstream, hence eliminating the glucose imbalance and the homeostasis of the blood maintained all the time in your body 24 hours into 7. You are going to be assured to be healthy for your lifetime. This is how health secure, by choosing the right food into your gut. This is what millets are for you. It is the association of the fiber with the carbohydrate, making the regulation of release of glucose slowly and steadily into your bloodstream, thus not disturbing the main component of blood glucose imbalance. The balance of glucose all the time when you eat and rest is maintained, because there is the ratio of the carbohydrate to fiber comes to single digit in these 5 grains, the minor millets. The major millets, it is not as good as its minor millets. Thus, though they are associated with fiber with a different nature, they cannot get you out of the diseased condition. So when you eat these 5 millets caused by the C3 grasses, that is rice and wheat and sugar cane, sugar, we can cure, we can heal because of this wonderful scientific factor of association of enough amount of fiber along with the carbohydrate. And the human mouth has only carbohydrate digesting enzymes, and other 80 to 90% of our gut has got only this carbohydrate digesting enzymes of various kinds. So human beings' food is millets, not now, time immemorial, and it is to be food for future. And I want you to understand, the experts all over the world, this is the way it has happened. So we have been misguided, rather missed the bus, though it was going freely for us. We have been told that this is not the bus, and our bus is something else. That is the corporate. So if anyone knows little bit of biochemistry, human race should not put sugar into their mouth, because within 2 minutes it will increase the glucose level in your bloodstream. So these experts, the so-called doctors, should have been warning the human race: do not touch glucose filled sugar, not touch rice and wheat, because it releases glucose in a matter of 15 minutes. This is a wonderful experiment we have done called renal tolerance test, and that's how I have graded these grains, and the future generations can grade these grains by test called renal tolerance test. In fact, I figured this out in just a matter of 3 days, that how do we decide food grains are the real food grains, that carbohydrate by fiber ratio becomes single digit, as is the case in these first 5 grains that I have told you. I will tell again: Kodo millet, foxtail millet, barnyard millet, brown top millet, little millet. Little millet has got 9.8%, Kodo millet has got 9%, barnyard millet has got 10%, and brown top millet has got 12.5%. In fact, brown top millet nutritional chart had not been worked out at all in the history of human race. I had to do it personally by myself. Anyway, that apart, these wonderful grains with various amounts of fiber are not just various amounts, they are various nature itself. Kodo millet fiber can clean up your bone marrow and bloodstream. Foxtail millet fiber cleans up your lungs and nervous system. Barnyard millet cleans up your soft parts. Brown top millet cleans up your digestive system as a whole. So you see, when you eat these grains 2 days each, in a matter of 10 days, your system is absolutely cleaned up. And all the experts, even today, are claiming millets are nutritional in their values. They are nutritional, all right, but they are more than that, because health doesn't depend on nutrition only. Nutrition alone cannot give health, because you can pick up nutrition from different parts of different available fruits, vegetables, grains, this and that. But what is not available, any one of these natural materials, including fruits and vegetables, is fiber enriched with lignans. Lignans are the chemical structures that can clean up your organelle, cells, and organs, toxic morbid waste you create in the biological system. That's another aspect of fibrous grains, that they are not just nutraceuticals, they are healing grains. They heal you by not allowing the diseased characteristics being manufactured in each and every cell while the cell goes on living. Because when cell makes energy called ATP, biological battery, also produces carbon dioxide, the toxic morbid that has to be eliminated to your lungs. And if your blood is not in, not carrying the carbon dioxide, you will have lung-related pneumonia. That is good. See how millets, the blood in the time, because of the presence of these wonderful lignans capturing all the toxic morbid waste then and there, allowing the most important characteristic, carrying the carbon dioxide out of your body. Thus, many more difficult toxic morbid waste is generated. They are mopped up by these lignans called soluble fiber in our blood. So, action from toxic morbid waste not being accumulated in your body is the source of being healthy. So you want to be healthy, you want to be eating millets. Millets are grains granted, given by God as a gift to the human race because they can be found everywhere. 90% of the land on this planet we can grow food. In fact, it is the business, is the corporatization of, because the rights of the seeds of farmers have been taken away in the name of science and technology. All these agricultural experts, technocrats have made in the name of patents, the seeds are also not available. Even if you agree that rice and wheat are food, just for arguments, they have been corporatized by patenting. See, this is the reason why food is bad for you. And now they are calling food security because they can produce large amounts. It is a misguided information because food is secured by God by making it available all over the planet. In fact, if food systems millet, coming generations can eat food without purchase. All over the food can be free, just like water, just like oxygen free. But the corporatization of food, corporatization of medicine, corporatization of land, corporatization of water, corporatization of air happening in the present day economic model. We need to get out of these nonsensical things because food can be free for everyone on this planet, not just for 7 billion people. 70 billion people can eat free food because these millets can be grown there and then, anywhere on this planet. Local production, local processing, local consumption. And these characteristics can be fulfilled by only millets if we choose them as food. But then human race has been misguided in the last 100 years in the name of science and technology. It is food corporates. I don't care about corporatizations. I don't mind corporations, but not food. I don't mind cars, corporates, other things being corporates. No, I have no problem. It is one of the systems that can do wonders for you, but food never be corporate. We all, as human beings, start working in the direction of ecological model for food because of the simple reason to produce this so-called food, rice, wheat, sugarcane, meat, and milk, the planet has been devoured by human race. Coffee and tea have been added as supplements in the name of addictions. We have devoured our mountainous areas, robbing the forest acreage into coffee and tea acreage. Coffee estates and tea estates have occupied 38% of mountainous areas and made the rivers disappear. So ecological imbalance is created by the food choices that we have made in the last 100 years. So to grow, rather to produce milk, have devastated so much of natural resources. So the milk is poison for you as well as the plant. Sugarcane is poison for you as well as the plant. Coffee and tea are very dangerous for your nervous system. The same goes the nerves of our planet are the rivers that are flowing heavily and healthy. That is being destroyed by building dams. So all these unscientific things have happened ecologically, the planet, because we are eating what we are eating in the last. So this is the right information that future generations have to get, such that the ecology of the planet is made to be the right balance back. So environmentalist, without talking about food, you cannot be an environmentalist. Unless the human race stops drinking coffee and tea, you cannot say you are environmental. Unless we stop using water, consumption of water for agricultural practices, you cannot say you are going to save environment. So answer to all of these drastic multidimensional problems for human race in the coming future is millets. Only when human race chooses millet as their food, we cannot solve any of the problems faced by human race. And the present government's corporate hands going hand in glove, I do not think policymakers are ready to change yet. Of course, nature will force everyone directly or indirectly to come back. So this is my belief. Whether you like it or not, this is our food. And someone talked about taste. It is just a matter of practice. You practice for 21 days and you don't want to even look at rice and wheat. I cannot touch rice and wheat. And by chance, we forget to soak the grain. Have to eat rice, and that day is a bad day. It is so good to eat millets. It is so wonderful to eat millets because you feel heavenly, absolutely out of the world as far as your activities are concerned. You are never tired because the glucose is released slowly and steadily in bloodstream. The blood is homeostasis. Every biochemical reactions going on as intended by the biochemistry. No disturbance at all. So you will never ever generate even disease, even in single cell is going to feel the health of eating meals. So health is ultimate wealth. That's what everyone says. That's how I named these 5 grains. I wish future generations will identify another 10 or 15 more wonderful grains. With this research, I have committed myself in the last 30 years trying to educate people. And do not blame the people. I would love to put the blame on the experts and the experts only, nothing else. So, I mean, I'm trying to say even politicians are not 100% involved in this. They are being misguided according. Of course, politicians want votes, all that. Let me finish my talk. I need to go. Let me finish. So, temperature, global warming, nutrition, health, any direction you look at. I hope I have put across all the science and the practical aspects of millets being the solution for everything. And of course, Swadeshi means local. And unless you concentrate on food, nothing is going to work. And village development, village independence, both economic and otherwise, will happen only when village people start eating food that is completely based on millet production and millet processing and millet consumption. So the village people, and right now I see a big problem. People are trying to make it into corporatized food by making value addition. Value addition is in your mind. You have to give priority. See, this iPhone does not cost 1 lakh rupees, but then we all want it so badly. The demand is created. That's how it costs so much. So value addition takes place in your brain, not by the products. So if you give more importance to food and the right food, you will have no diseases. So when food is right, no medicine is required. And when food is wrong, no medicine works. So we can actually eliminate the pharmaceutical companies, the way they are making things go around. Is absolutely a business model, not an ecological and scientific model. Thank you very much.
And Khadar Valli, I will be making very important observation. Will you be able to give a tentative date for your Kerala visit? You haven't visited Kerala so far.
Sir, I will visit you soon. I will talk to Bangireddy and finalize the dates in a matter of week.
Oh,
I have so many other things, all things are not falling in place. So confused state exists. So I will get back to you in a matter of 5 to 6 days.
okay, that will be fine. Then finally, we are going to, before going to close, the Devabrata Shakya from Assam, the opposition leader of Assam. He has traveled all the way to Kerala, from Guwahati to Kerala, as a student of Swadeshi, how to the Swadeshi working here, to learn from Swadeshi and wanted to implement it in his own area in the northeastern states. And Devrataji, you can have your own observations.
Yeah, thank you very much for these uh, enlightening words by Padmasree sir. And our state also now has been running a millet mission. So we are very much interested. And after coming here, I have come to know about the different two kinds of millets, and which are less water consuming. Actually, in my state, only 10% of our agricultural area is irrigated by government schemes. And due to various DBT schemes, people are less interested in agriculture now. So our agricultural land also not fully utilized. But this millet now, if take up, it will help our farmers also, and as it will consume less water, it will be beneficial also. So,
Sir, I want to add a statistic there. If you have
Yes.
1.5 lakh acres of land is being irrigated, you
right,
have 58 lakh acres non-irrigated land.
exactly.
So it's actually shame on agriculture experts,
We agree.
totally not worried about this much land present and saying, declaring that anything that is produced is not food there. So it's mind-boggling.
Right. So when I visited the International Horticulture Exhibition held last December, I met some people who were coming to there, and they said that when it was promoted, millet was promoted, then they said that we are cultivating it, and it is like no value. We, when we don't have any food to buy, we eat, then we give it to cow and all. So now that recognition has come, and really we also now want to take it up, and so it is very good that I could hear you, and we hope to do it in a big way.
Great, sir. So nice of you.
Then
You have to permit me to leave because my clinic
Sir.
already had.
sir,
I'll get back to you, sir. We will meet again.
a couple of seconds, sir. Gangradaji raised his hands whether he has to make any comments. Gangradaji?
Gangredi garu.
No. Pangajashan ji, are you hearing Pangajashan? Pangajashan, are you hearing?
Yes, sir.
Please make a order. Thanks.
So on behalf of Kerala Millet Mission and people of Kerala, most welcome, Khadar Valli ji. Thank you for your good speech and inspiring speech. And also we are with you. We are working for the good people and good healthy people. Thank you for your presence and speeches. We think about that this is God plus with us. So thank you for.
And
Sir, I have sent all the updated protocols for disease conditions.
okay.
And
Yeah.
all the, I hope Gangredi has given you all the information.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, sir. I have forwarded. Once again, I'll forward them.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. And let me introduce the chairman of the Swadeshi movement here, Gandhi Center for Rural Development, Dr. Matthew Philip.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I will get back to you, sir, by July.
Okay.
We'll meet. I'll come to Kerala and then we'll talk.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir.